Good evening. I got caught taking my coat off. Welcome, residents and those who are watching live. Um, I'd like to call the order of the City of Everett Council meeting, February 5th, 2025. For information on council meetings and how to participate, please visit everettwa.gov/citycouncil. And just for the record, we have encouraged council members to participate remotely due to the inclement weather. So thank you very much for watching, and I appreciate the crowd here. I hope everyone stays very careful here tonight because of the weather. So clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor Franklin.
She excused.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
Here.
Councilmember Fossey.
Excused.
Councilmember Bader.
Here.
Councilmember Ryan.
Here.
Councilmember Vogely.
Excused.
Councilmember Tui.
Here.
President Schwab.
Here. Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask Councilmember Tui to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And at this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember Ryan to read the land acknowledgement.
Yes. City Council wishes to acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Shahobes people and their successors, the Tulalip tribes. Since time immemorial, they have hunted, fished, and gathered on these lands and waters. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and waters. We will strive to be honest about our past mistakes, to bring about a future that includes their voices, their people, and their stories to form a more just and equitable society.
Thank you very much. And just for the record, I believe Councilmember Vogely has made it on. Thank you. And thank you for being patient with all our technology and the weather. It's never a dull moment when you add up all the items. So moving on to old business. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for January 29, 2025?
Councilmember Ryan so moves.
Seconded.
Motion and second been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, now it's time for public comment, which includes written comments acknowledgement. Under our rules, written comments shall be considered in the same manner as oral comments. The person submitted comments must provide the name of city and residence to be made part of the official record. And if you are online, if you could just keep your mic off until your name is called. Thank you. So, Angie, do we have anyone to speak tonight?
Good evening, President Schwab. We do, and just for the record, there's no written comments. We have a couple of individuals online, so I'll start with Amy. If you could please unmute and turn your camera on and state your full name, city of residence, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak as soon as you see the clock on the screen.
My name is Amy Heeb. I'm a resident and homeowner in the Riverside neighborhood of Everett. I'm also a non-practicing attorney and member of the Washington State Bar Association in good standing. I've offered comments to this body previously about the city's efforts to close the organization Hope and Wellness through code enforcement using code EMC 1905110. This is the same code provision that the city has exempted other similarly situated businesses from being brought to either compliance or closure. I served on the city's historical commission for 4 years, mostly in leadership positions. I have seen firsthand how the city is willing and able to make exceptions to code compliance for residences and businesses alike when the city finds an exception to code serves a higher good. Letting Hope and Wellness continue operations, which currently means opening their doors to our unhoused neighbors for a grand total of 5 hours on one day of the week. Letting them continue these services is a higher good than strict code enforcement. Code compliance is a good that we should strive for, but it is not the inescapable force of gravity. It is a guideline the city makes and makes exceptions to serve higher goods. The people who rely on Hope and Wellness do not have other better options. Hope and Wellness does not have other code compliant options for appropriate business space in the area where people need these services. Hope and Wellness and the people it serves are making the best of seriously limited options. The city, for example, does not provide alternatives to these services. I'm coming to you tonight to ask you to care about our neighbors who are sleeping outside in the wet and the cold, and tonight in the snow. Care is not some secreted away feeling in your heart. Care is material action demonstrated through our priorities. Care is a matter of finding and holding on to the highest good. I'm not asking you to abandon code. I am asking you to see our unhoused neighbors as people who have been systematically abandoned, people who are down and out and without better alternatives. And I'm asking you to care just enough that you don't kick them while they're down. I'm asking you to care. Thank you.
Thank you. And Julie, if you could please unmute your audio and turn on your camera and state your full name and city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak as soon as you see the clock timer on the screen.
My name is Julie Zender. I'm a resident in the Bayside neighborhood of Everett. I would like to enthusiastically second Amy's comments. I could not have said it any better. Hope and Wellness is providing needed services for our city, and shutting them down in the name of code enforcement does not help anyone. In fact, it takes away help from the people in our city who needs it most. Everett is for everyone. That includes the people who don't have access to other services. We should care for everyone. Under the new administration, we are going into a time where more and more people are going to need help. Everett should be ready to help the people who live here, not make it harder. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we'll move into chambers, and if John could please come to the podium. John? And just hit the button on the right side of the base, yeah, and then state your full name, city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening, everyone. My name's John Klosterman, and thank you for letting me speak once again about Hope and Wellness. I just want to say that I hope that our plan for that block is really good, because if Hope and Wellness isn't where they are now, someone may very well die. And no matter how good our plans are, how clear and well-intentioned, when they involve signing off on the end of someone's life, there's always going to be a hurt that never heals. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle, if you could please come to the podium, followed by Scott. And please state your full name and city of residence. You have 3 minutes to.
Hi, I'm Michelle Pendergrass. Precinct 1 or District 1. So I have two things I wanted to mention. One, my friend whose 21-year-old son was hit by a car on Broadway, she did have to end life support on him. And it's just so sad. And I was driving down Broadway today on my way home, and I paid attention this time to the difference in speed limits, and why is Broadway 35 and Rutgers only 30? Like, I don't get that at all. And maybe that 5 mile an hour speed limit would make a difference, just something to keep keep in the back of your minds, you know, for anyone else has to do that for their son. Now, by the way, she'll be raising his 1-year-old baby for the rest of her next 18 years or more. So now I want to talk about Hope and Wellness. I was there last week on Wednesday, and they had this like learn-in for knowing your rights. And I sat next to this young man who I would say is about 17 to 21-ish. And he was, you know, grubby, and he had 2 jackets on and a hat and whatever. But this smile on his face was just so huge. He has this big, dumb grin on his face the whole time. And it was just so heartwarming because he kept looking at me like, yeah, we could do that, you know, yeah, I'm gonna stand up. He had all these plans of how he was gonna come to city council today and talk to you guys. And he wasn't able to because he's so afraid of not, I talked to him again this evening, I stopped by Hope and Wellness. And he's so afraid of not being able to have a spot in the shelter because it's so damn cold outside. And I just, like, damn it, these are real people, and they're trying, and she's, like, providing phone numbers and addresses, and they're actually looking for work, and, like, this isn't just, it's not just a storage place for garbage people, you know? These are, like, real people who are trying, and many of them, you know, have lived here their entire lives. I don't know about that kid, but some other people last Wednesday were saying so. Anyway, I have a letter I would like to read from one of the partakers of Hope and Wellness's services. It says, I love Hope and Wellness. You get treated like family. Everyone is very helpful, and it is a great place to get services. It is very convenient and a safe location. I would be extremely sad if Hope and Wellness got shut down. I feel like this city is trying to eliminate us and is discriminating against us. I hope, and I know you guys aren't trying to do that. I don't think you're good people. That's why you took this job. Hope and Wellness is the only place that is open on New Year's and Christmas. This helps us for us to be able to be around people that care during the holidays. And it is the only place that is open on those days. Karen Osborne. Anyway, I just wanted to read that letter and appeal to you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott, could you please come to the podium, followed by Haley, and state your full name and city residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Push the white button.
It's good.
Okay. Hi, my name's Scott Sparling. I'm in District 1, 20-year Everett resident. I'm here tonight in defense of Hope and Wellness and hoping to change some minds. A couple numbers and then a comment. Over 1,500 people walked through the doors of Hope and Wellness last year. It is serving people. 52% of the people that received help were referred to by other city or county-funded agencies and received services that the city was unable or unwilling to provide at no cost to the taxpayers of Everett. A majority of the people who utilize Hope and Wellness services are long-term residents of Everett, despite the city's false narrative that homeless people migrate to Everett like it is a poor people's promised land. The mayor and her staff have repeatedly stated publicly that they're trying to work with Hope and Wellness to stay open, in talks that don't appear to be in good faith. In the most recent meeting, the mayor spent 2 hours white-splaining their position of chasing developer cash instead of meeting the needs of their constituents. They talked about how South Everett is a service desert, which is true, but isn't it literally their jobs to make sure that is not the case? They also hinted at a pot of money they might free up if Hope and Wellness agreed to move, then asked Jasmine, the proprietor, asked if Jasmine knew what grants were, apparently not bothering to do the slightest bit of research about the organization or how it's funded. They said Hope and Wellness should move south without a plan, a hope, or even a napkin sketch of how that would work, or how the city would replace the services provided to the people downtown. Is that what the mayor considers acting in good faith? She might as well, if that's what the mayor considers acting in good faith, she might as well claim atheist. Hope and Wellness is not even a 501c and was founded to meet the needs of homeless people in the downtown area, as the city seems either incapable or unwilling to do so. The city's last meeting seemed like a PR stunt, and we hope in future meetings they can spend more effort doing work for their constituents rather than wasting so much effort trying to pretend they are. I implored the city to grant a zoning compliance exception to Open Wellness. They're saving lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Haley, could you please come to the podium, followed by Abby? And state your full name and city residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay. Okay. I would also like to speak to Advocate for Hope and Wellness. A resident of Everett, Haley Kenville, been here for about 6 years, and I really love this city. I really value the community here. And I appreciate that there are rules that must be followed, but this is a rule that deserves an exception for this specific organization that is doing such good. I have a couple letters written by people who could not be here tonight, as Michelle said, about needing to get in line at the shelter tonight in the cold. Hope and Wellness is like a second home. We get treated equally, and there's no other place to go to be able to relax and chill out. I feel like the city is trying to push people out and away. Hope and Wellness helps out a lot of people. They helped me out with getting a bike so I would have transportation, so I wouldn't have transportation without them. If Hope and Wellness gets shut down, no one would have a place to go or have a place to call home and relax. Hope and Wellness is like home, so second letter. A safe haven, a sanctuary, a place where we can be safe and warm and welcome. Taking it away would be taking away one of the only places that is safe and makes you feel like you're among friends and family. There are no other places like that. This is like coming home, and for a homeless person, that is everything. It is important that you all become aware of how vital this place is. The more Hope and Wellness is open, the less we are on the streets. Hope and Wellness helps give us resources to get off the streets. You could both be on the same team. It's providing good for the community that is very sorely needed. I drive by my unhoused neighbors every morning on my way to work, and this is a service that helps members of that community, of our community, feel safe and seen and treated like real human beings, and they deserve this exception. Thank you.
Thank you. Abby, if you could please come to the podium, followed by Holly, and state your full name and city of residence.
Is this still on?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Abby Ludwig from Olympia, Washington. I'm the executive director of Standing for Washington. We are the sponsors of Everett Initiative 2403. I'm here today to bring to your attention the lawsuit that was filed on January 28th of 2025 by the Master Builders Association and other developer interests seeking to overturn Everett Initiative 2403. That is a voter-approved ordinance to protect the Snohomish River watershed. As you know, this initiative passed with strong public support, receiving 57% of the vote in an election where 74% of the Everett voters participated. This is a clear mandate, and we hope the city shares our commitment to uphold the will of the voters. The lawsuit claims that this new ordinance conflicts with state law. But I want to clarify that the initiative's preemption clause explicitly acknowledges that state law would not take precedence, that state law would take precedence in any conflict. While the lawsuit references the Spokane Initiative case, we carefully considered that ruling when drafting the Everett Initiative 2403, and this is a fundamentally different legal matter. Although we are a grassroots campaign with limited resources, we had top legal experts, including the legal defense of that Spokane initiative, work directly on this ordinance to ensure its legal soundness. We are confident that this ordinance will withstand this challenge. This ordinance provides a cause of action, allowing both residents and the city to take legal action to prevent harm to the ecosystem. And it holds bad actors accountable for exploiting regulatory loopholes. It reinforces the intent of our state environmental regulations and enhances local capacity to protect natural resources. The City of Everett already has clear authority and responsibility over land use, permitting, and environmental governance. And this new law aligns with those responsibilities, reinforcing the city's role in safeguarding our environment. We've been in ongoing communication with the city attorney's office via email today, and we appreciate their willingness to review our legal analysis as the city prepares its response. We hope the city remains committed to vigorously defending this ordinance and the will of the voters. If needed, we could gear up to petition to intervene in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. And Holly, if you could please come to the podium and state your full name and city of residence. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Holly James, 1220 Colby, Everett 90201. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and Annie Lyman, Everett 98203. Dear City Council, I would like to speak about the request to fund the capital improvement project being planned at 1230 Colby Avenue, known as Drill Nielsen Park. I've resided next to the park for 24 years. I've studied the park in depth and have knowledge of its use and traffic patterns. I volunteered and led our neighborhood association in generating and spending close to $20,000 in the park, named the native plant display garden, which was planted in 23 and 24. I also participated in the committee of 10 that worked with parks to design the existing structure. What I mean to say is I watch my park, I plan my park, I know my park. We would like you to consider asking the Parks Department staff to change the plan to reduce the cost and the footprint. One idea could be to reduce the number of swings from 5 down to at least 2, but to specifically work within the existing footprint. The hope is that the expense is lower, the park maintains balance of physical structure and open play space, and we can redirect funds to build an enhanced crosswalk at 13th and Colby to increase public safety getting to the park. The neighborhood has been seeking help at 13th and Colby crosswalk for 15 years. Traffic has gotten progressively worse over time, and near misses occur daily. City traffic staff support the need for a crosswalk enhancement, but due to our budget crisis, have agreed to wait for Providence Swedish to cover the expenses. Waiting for the hospital to take care of our intersection is a big ask and obviously too much. As funds in the city are dwindling and current projections point to reserves being gone in 3 years, and I think we would all agree having money to solve the existing public safety problems seems more important than adding 5 toddler swings. I'm asking you to review with traffic and parks and come to a reasonable solution for the site, which moves us all forward. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes our public comments. And just to let you know, Director Leonard is on Zoom if there's any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, public comments. Moving on to council comments. Councilmember Zarlingo.
Well, first, I'd like to thank those who came here to comment and let us know about your concerns and the way you weigh the various factors involved in this. Well, first, a brief note about noise. It's becoming a bigger and bigger issue in our communities. I've spoken about it here before. A new ordinance is coming to this council next week. It's been discussed at a couple of council committees late last year. I also testified at the state legislature on a measure there last week at the State House and earlier this week at the State Senate. I hope we'll see some practical measures that way that can focus on some of our worst problems. Next, last week, Planning Director Yorick Stevens-Wajda came to our neighborhood meeting for the Silver Lake neighborhood on Thursday, did some explanations and discussions with our neighborhood chair, Mackenzie Sullivan. She's also a member of the Planning Commission that meets here monthly or twice monthly. She's been serving extensive time over about 18 months, as has the commission, on the comprehensive plan update that's underway right now for 2024. Mackenzie and Yorick brought some citywide and neighborhood-focused maps to hand out to explain what the comprehensive plan means on the ground in our local community. And I'd like to thank Mackenzie and Yorick for this outreach and to encourage anybody who's interested in this work that's going to affect us all for the next 20 years to look at the resources on everettwa.gov/2044. So that's everettwa.gov/2044. There are really good maps there to help us all get engaged and understand what's happening with the mixture of comprehensive plan updates and some mandated changes from the state. And then lastly, most people are aware of the need for blood transfusions and blood products, and I'd like to thank those here at the City of Everett, who I wish I could specifically name, who organized and hosted the blood drive last Thursday at the Public Works site on Cedar Street. If you don't have a regular workplace donation, you can always check the website for Bloodworks Northwest to find a local date and location. A prominent author I've read has said that if you want to be a good member of your community, you should do three things: vote regularly, do your jury duty when asked, and donate blood. Now, I should note that that author needed a huge transfusion of blood to save his own life, so I can see where he's coming from. But for each one of us, or a friend, or a family member, you never know, and maybe you're just paying it forward. So I'd encourage you to consider that. You can donate every couple of months or so, and from doing it a number of times, it's just not a big deal. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Bader.
No report this week and no comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Vogely.
Thank you so much, everyone who spoke, and I guess nobody wrote in this week, but if you did, then anyway. This week I went to the Everett Park Commission, so it was very interesting. Actually, I'm hoping that Bob Leonard will be able to, if not speak directly to what Holly James said. I know that we spoke about that park and that it may possibly be extended in timing because of, just certain aspects of time. So there may then be enough time to reconsider or to consider that idea that the constituent brought in. I think it's interesting. So I would like to hear what administration directors might have to say about that. And I wanted to bring up that there were record numbers of rounds of golf at both of our golf courses this past year. Even with updating the fees, the round fees, let's see, over 120,000 rounds in 2024. I don't golf, so I don't really know a whole lot about what that means, but apparently that's really good. And we as a city took out a loan in like the 90s and are still paying that off. And with this type of income that is being generated at the golf courses, we should be able to pay that off next year. So that's phenomenal. And I just wanted to share that with everybody. I know that a lot of people in my neighborhood are very excited about the golf course, Walter Hall golf course. So I just wanted to bring that up because there's been lots of talk with ebbs and flows and the fluidity of golf. So it's doing well. The next Parks Board is April 1st, but it's no joke. It's really happening. And then tonight, just before council, I was at the Alliance for Housing Affordability, and I don't need to reiterate all of the information because Chris came last week. And so a lot of the same information was shared amongst different jurisdictions. And I would like to also comment that I have been voted in as the chair of that group for this coming up year. So that's exciting for me. And our next meeting will be May 7th. In a business type of, so I went to a business downtown Rucker on Friday night. The weather was kind of dismal. Yeah, so I went to the Port Gardner Bay Winery, and oh my gosh, they're right across the street and down a couple businesses from Hope and Wellness, but it was standing room only. I had to wait to be seated. I don't know if it's like that every Friday, but that's a pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing. And so considering that it's right across the street from Hope and Wellness, I wanted to put that out there. there didn't seem to be any issues. It was a Friday, so yeah, and it was, wet, but like I said, there was live music and it was jumping. So kudos to downtown metro sub area plan businesses. They seem to be doing pretty well on Friday nights. And I went to a couple other businesses in the area and they were also well established. I don't think that's the right word. But so I just wanted to put that out there, probably read between the lines. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ryan.
Great. Good evening, everybody. Thank you to all of our commenters this evening. I appreciate you coming and sharing about all the different issues. For next week's third reading for Drew Nielsen Park, it'd be great to hear more of an update from Bob, unless he's prepared to speak to it tonight, about the park itself, the scheduling that happens for the replacement of the structures, the outreach and engagement process during the design process. I know they had a couple of neighborhood meetings, so an update on the feedback for that. And then if we could have traffic share more about a timeline for the crosswalk, I think that'd be great as well. So thank you for bringing that up this evening. And thank you to the folks sharing more and advocating for hope and wellness, and for the people and advocating on behalf of the people that couldn't be here tonight as well. We do have another meeting scheduled for next Thursday, so I'd be happy to keep your comments in mind and also continue to advocate to make sure that they can keep their doors open longer, especially with this extended cold snap that we have going on. I did want to tie that into a mention there are 6 overnight shelters in all of Snohomish County, which seems like a pretty small number. And with the extended cold snap, I just wanted to encourage folks to find their local shelter and volunteer. I know volunteer efforts volunteers can get fatigued when there's these long stretches of being open every night. So please reach out to provide relief as you can. And then I also wanted to share, earlier this week I attended the Downtown Everett Association 2025 kickoff, and they did a fantastic job of giving a recap of all the great work that they've done in 2024 and all of the exciting things to look forward to in 2025. So I'd encourage folks to check out their website for upcoming events like this sip and ship and cookie crawls and all sorts of fun things that they do downtown. And then also, speaking of downtown and Everett as a whole, I had served as the liaison for the formation committee of the Greater Everett Chamber of Commerce, and they moved at lightning speed, and they are up and running and established and accepting memberships. I know that we'll get a presentation and an update next week from Wendy Poischbeg, who's the new executive director and doing a phenomenal job getting it off the ground. So it was great that the council could provide some of our ARPA dollars to help with the formation of that, to make sure it had really great seed money to blossom into what it's quickly blossomed into. So more to come on that, but just wanted to give a mention. And they have a website if folks want to join, everettchamber.org. They already have a number of events set up and ways that businesses can become members as well. So that's all for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Toohey.
Yeah, thank you. I have just a couple of comments to make. I want to thank everybody who showed up tonight to give comment. And I know that I'm working with Councilmember Ryan on the committee with the Hope and Wellness Group. And it is totally our goal to find a positive solution, and hopefully one that will enable Hope and Wellness to be open and providing their much needed services on a more days a week than what they are right now. So I know for me personally, that's my goal. And so I'm glad that I'm part of that committee, and I will work hard for that. And I appreciate all your comments tonight, and appreciate Holly coming. Also, I'm curious to find out from a public safety standpoint. I know we talked a lot about roads and public safety and pedestrian safety. So it would be great to have that update from Bob on what it looks like for that crosswalk. Maybe it's not part of the renovation of the park, but if we can get some kind of an idea on timing on that. I know there's a lot of people that are in and around the area with the hospital, so it would be great to keep that crosswalk, get that crosswalk in an order that is very safe. So appreciate those comments, and hopefully more to come. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and then for my report, just for our members here, we met with our facilitator at our last council retreat, so you should be getting something here in the next couple of days on the final report. And we already started working with the mayor's office, basically making an action item list of some of the things that we need to work, that we've agreed to, that we want to move forward. And then also, the intention is for our committees to also use a document to, as they form their priorities for this coming year. So thank you all your participation in that. I know it was, you got, everyone here on this group has put a lot of effort into that, and I thank you for that. Also, hats off to the Boulevard Bluffs neighborhood. They reformed. So it's always excited to see a new neighborhood, or an old neighborhood get back together. And then just a comment about crosswalks. It's not just the only one. There are several crosswalks in this city that need to be evaluated and improvements need to be made. So we have a lot of challenges with that. So I look forward to some of the work that our traffic engineering and the study that we're working on. Hopefully we'll have some results and be able to move forward with several different locations in the city. Also, we have Parks Director Bob Leonard on. I'll just ask admin, is he willing, do you want to do a quick presentation about this park? Or is
Yeah, I
that
think he
something you want to
can-
plan later?
He's ready to share a couple thoughts on the process to get to this point with the funding ordinance that's before you. I'll add that the Colby Crosswalk, so Bob's our Parks and Facilities Director, not our Public Works and Streets expert. Staff are working with Providence and have a verbal agreement that they'd purchase the rapid rectangular flashing beacons equipment, and then Public Works could do the engineering. Streets can do the sidewalk and ADA improvements, but sort of on hold through the end of 2024, about time to start that conversation up again with Providence, and it is on their plan to get started and restart that conversation. If there's more to add to that, I will bring that back next week. And if Bob is there, he's one of those squares up there, so he can speak a little bit more about the park and that process.
Okay, before you get started here, Bob, I also make a comment about traffic. It's also the speed enforcements. There's a much compression of traffic. People commuting through our town. I mean, it's a lot of issues, so. All right, thank you.
You'll remember that the Safe Streets for All grant is enabling that study to do
Right.
that research to allow us to reexamine those speeds in some key locations throughout the community.
Right, yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. Director Leonard.
Good evening, Bob Leonard, Parks and Facilities Director. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about Drew Nielsen. I don't have all of the exact dates and times that we engaged with the community, but I will say that this was actually a more robust community engagement process that we've gone through for a lot of our other playgrounds. We do replace playgrounds on a regular basis. We have a number of playgrounds in the system, and we do need to put them on a schedule and keep replacing playgrounds on a yearly basis so that we don't lag behind. We went through the normal process. We felt like we had a good design and we had good buy-in, but then we heard some information that maybe not everybody was totally satisfied with the design. So then we went back and did a second round of community engagement to make sure that we were really getting the pulse of what we felt that the neighborhood really wanted. Honestly, that is what we are presenting, and we really do feel like this design is what was asked for. I totally acknowledge and understand that not everybody will always be happy with every design, but we do believe that this is what the majority of people that live in that neighborhood would like to see happen.
Questions, Councilmember Vogely.
I'm thinking, thank you for speaking to that. And I know, because serving on TAC and serving on the Parks Board liaison, and just knowing about funding, is it even possible to utilize the funding that would go for this park in a different capacity? Because I know certain buckets can only pay for certain things.
I would have to check with finance on that specifically, but I would venture to say no. This is money that has been set aside for park projects, not for road projects. Whether it officially can be transferred or used for that process, I would have to check.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Administration.
I just have two other things, so, well, maybe she mentioned it at the housing affordability meeting. I don't know if Councilmember Vogel already mentioned this, but the comprehensive plan it is a big item that will be coming before council in the next few months. I sent a few draft important dates, but just two to flag, kind of the beginning and the end. We'll have a briefing on February 19th, coming up in a couple weeks. And then several meetings, kind of a nice monthly cadence until we get into May, with your adoption slated for June 4th. So there is public outreach happening now with the planning department and the planning commission review. And there will be lots of opportunities for public comment in those next 4 months. My other item is just, Councilmember Ryan already spoke to this a little bit, but the cold weather shelters in Everett have already been open for the last 14 days because of the cold temperatures. Whenever they're forecasted below 34 degrees, the county activates them. Everett Gospel Mission runs the two in Everett, and on the busiest night over the last 2 weeks, they served 62 people at the UCC location and 11 at the Women and Children's Shelter. For folks listening that are concerned about people you might see outside in really cold temperatures, you can call the non-emergency line at 425-407-3999 to request a welfare check. But you can also call 911 to get immediate medical attention. Councilmember Ryan mentioned the need for volunteers. I don't know if you said the email address or not. I don't remember, but it's volunteerinfo@egm or egmission.org. If folks are interested in helping, they do need volunteers as the cold continues and they remain open. And then lastly, staff working with the VOA have identified a second cold weather shelter starting tomorrow through February 15th. So that's at 2619 Cedar Street. They'll have 30 additional beds. VOA is operating it, and it'll be open for intake 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And individuals with pets are welcome at that shelter, which EGM can't accommodate. So that is a nice benefit for folks who have cold pets with them as well. One last piece, daytime warming centers are at our libraries and Snow Isle libraries during normal operating hours, and as well at the Carl Gibson Center. Okay, I think that was it.
Question about the capacity for our nighttime cold shelters.
Well, I mentioned the new one has that 30 bed capacity, and then let me see if I have the note about the full capacity. Well, I know they at least were able to achieve that busy night of 62 folks at the UCC, and then I believe the Women and Children's Center is closer to like 15 to 20, and then they just breached 11 on one night over the last couple weeks. I know you always ask me capacity, and I never have it in these notes, so next time I will.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Did we complete your list?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. How about our city attorney, David Hall?
Nothing from legal and no executive session.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, moving on to, do we have any questions from our online members? Okay, all right. I don't want to forget you out there. All right, on to our consent items. We have 5 consent items. Do I have a motion and a second, and are there any questions?
Councilor Ryan moves approval of consent agenda items 1 through 5.
Seconded.
Okay, motion and seconds made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan,
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely,
Yes.
Councilmember Tui,
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay, moving on to our action items. Action item number 6, third and final reading, Council Bill 2501-01. Adopt a ordinance amending Ordinance 3908-22 entitled Fire Training Center Project to accumulate design costs for the project.
Move to approve Council Bill 2501-01.
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
Okay, any questions? I'd like to make a comment and thank that the work that Councilman Ryan's been working on that funding for, and the city administration for trying to get funding both at the federal and the state level, so thank you for that. Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Yes.
Councilmember Bader?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
Councilmember Tui?
Yes.
President Schwab?
Yes. Okay, moving on to item number 7, Council Bill 2501-02, third and final reading. Adopt an ordinance closing a special improvement project entitled Lowell Riverfront Park Renovation as established by ordinance number 3899-22.
Councilmember Ryan moves Council Bill 2501-02.
Second the motion?
Motion and second made. Are there any questions? Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Yes.
Councilmember Bader?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
Councilmember Tui?
Yes.
President Schwab?
Yes. Okay, moving on to item number 8, Council Bill 2501-03. Third and final reading, adopt an ordinance amending ordinance 3952-23 entitled Parks, Restrooms Renovation Project to accumulate all costs for the project.
Councilmember Ryan moves approval of Council Bill 2501-03.
Second the motion?
Okay, motion and second been made. Is there any questions? Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Yes.
Councilmember Bader?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
Councilmember Tui?
Yes.
President Schwab?
Yes. And you got my yes vote on the previous one. Thank you. Okay, on to item number 9, Council Bill 2501-04. Third and final reading, adopt an ordinance creating a special improvement project entitled Port Gardner Storage Facility and repealing ordinance number 3816-21.
Move to approve the measure.
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
Second the motion?
Okay. Motion seconds made. Any questions or comments? Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Yes.
Councilmember Bader?
That was a yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
Councilmember Tui?
Yes.
President Schwab?
Yes. Okay, moving on to Council Bill 2501-05, third and final reading, adopt an ordinance closing a special improvement project entitled Wiggums Hollow Playground Replacement as established by ordinance number 3951-23.
So move the motion?
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
Okay, motion seconds made. Any questions or comments? Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Yes.
Councilmember Bader?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
Councilmember Tui?
Yes.
President Schwab?
Yes. Okay, moving on to Council Bill 2501-06. Third and final reading, adopt an ordinance creating a special improvement project entitled Water Pollution Control Facility, combined convenience improvements, and repealing ordinance number 3881-22.
Councilmember Ryan so moves.
Seconded.
Second?
Motion and second's been made. Any questions?
Just real quick, Council President, combined conveyance facility, just so people know what that is. Anyway, thanks, that's all I have.
Oh, I said, oh, did I? Wow, you are, the arms.
I wasn't going to correct.
All right, well, thanks you.
Let's
All right,
hope it,
thanks you for correcting the record.
let's hope it's a convenient conveyance.
Conveyance,
Yes,
thank
that's
you.
right.
Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo?
Yes.
Councilmember Bader?
Yeah.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely?
Yes.
Councilmember Tui?
Yes.
President Schwab?
Yes, all right. Moving on to item number 12, Council Bill 2501-07, third and final reading. Adopt an ordinance creating a special improvements project entitled Edgewater Creek Bridge Replacement to accumulate all costs for the improvement and repealing ordinance number 4002-24.
Councilmember Ryan so moves.
Second the motion.
Okay, do I have any questions or comments? Councilmember Bartolini, go.
Just a quick one to notice that tonight we are voting on a number of things that are really large, really important, critical, basic, fundamental stuff that we all depend on for our utilities and facilities. And so I appreciate all the work that's gone into this up until now.
Okay, great. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay, we now have proposed action items. Items 12, items 13, 14, and 15. This time, do I have any questions or comments? Okay, the third and final reading for all three of these will be on the 12th. Okay, with no further business, we are now adjourned. What? There's more? Stand by, what? Okay, meeting's adjourned.